Thanks so much for joining us, and we are in October, which means it is Filipino American History Month. And joining us for a bit more about this fascinating community, not only here in Colorado, but across the country, and also to get a bit more insight, of course, about Filipino American history. We're now joined by our 9 News race and culture contributor, Shay Johnson. Shay, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, so Shay, I guess from a race and culture lens, why is it so important to highlight Filipino American History Month in Colorado, and what does this significant observance signify for the Filipino American community?
Oh, Chris, you know, I'm all about the race and culture lens, right? And so I think it's absolutely important because this acknowledgement of the Filipino American presence is necessary. We know right here in Colorado, they make up less than 1%, but they are mighty in the work that's being done. And so when we take time out, we really foster being inclusive and appreciation, right? And then their rich history and some of the things that are happening right now in the present. And so I think it's really celebrating the diversity and also the contributions. So it's necessary.
Absolutely. No doubt about that it is necessary. Now, speaking of some of those resources, the Filipino American community of Colorado has emerged as a vital organization for the Filipino community here in the state. How does the FACC play such an integral role in kind of assisting and supporting the Filipino American community?
Absolutely. I say that the FACC is a pivotal space for anybody in the Filipino community. This is your primary resource. The FACC is actually celebrating 70 years of being in this community right here in Colorado. So that's huge in itself, right?
Yeah,
you know how much work has to take if you've been doing this for 70 years. And so they are really all about making sure that they promote the culture, but also that they give you identity and they preserve the culture. And I love that they're hands-on about empowering and fostering a sense of community, but also about telling their people's rich history and how they really affect Colorado's whole landscape. And they are our go-to stop for Filipino resources.
I was saying, 70 years, 70 years,
Yes.
That strikes me as a really long time, doesn't it?
You and I both. Like, that's a lot of time. So you imagine how many voices they've heard, right? How many stories they tell. I always tell someone, if you want to hear your story be told the right way, say it from your perspective, say it from your lens. And this is how we preserve history and make sure that Colorado gets to know some of the history that's right here in our own state.
And we were talking about the FACC kind of being that integral linchpin in terms of maintaining that history and that kind of cultural identity. Tell us a bit more about some of the initiatives that they're taking to help promote that.
Absolutely. With the FACC, they are not only doing things right here in the community, but they are in schools, they are in the university. They are also doing a lot of clinics and webinars. So, you know, we're always about health and wellness as well. So they are always doing COVID reliefs and making sure that people have some of those touch points that are necessary for the community. They also are doing these financial literacy classes. And we know we need to be looking for economic relief. And how do we make sure we're putting these communities in places that we can advance as the communities of color? And so the FACC has really been a part of preserving that, but also empowering the community through all the various initiatives. And they link up with people like us at 9 News and do our 9 News Healthcare, 9 News Health Fair, and a lot of different partners, national and local.
So economy, blood drives, health drives. It strikes me as fairly maybe well-rounded and compared to other, maybe not even a comparison sense. It strikes me as very well-rounded. Is there a specific reason why the Filipino American community is so kind of successful in being as well-rounded as they are?
Wow, I think really understanding the need, right? When you listen to your community as they come in and they feel displaced, they don't see people that look like them, they don't see any of their traditions being honored. I really feel like that necessity, they stepped into a space that was needed, and they really took ownership of that and then said, we don't want to be a one-stop shop. We want to be a primary resource. And what I love about that is that they're not saying, come here, stay here, and this is your only resource. They're saying, these are all the other amazing things going on that we can help you if you want to do something national, if you want to do something local. We want to make sure that we're helping our community be stronger together, and if they're going in different directions, be stronger in that sense as well.
Yeah, very interesting. Well, not only is Filipino American History Month a time for celebration, it's also an opportunity for education and outreach. And so how does the FACC engage with educational institutions and the wider community to kind of create that greater understanding of what they do?
I think one of my favorite things that they're doing is cultural sensitivity workshops and events, right? Because we know sometimes we don't know what we don't know until we don't know it, right? And so when you start getting these workshops that really break down some of the nuances, some of the microaggressions, some of the way, how do you handle yourself in these workspaces when people don't get you maybe or understand you, they're tackling those things. They also are promoting inclusivity and cultural awareness by partnering with different people that don't have maybe the BIPOC community at the leadership tables. And so I love they're sending a lot of their people in the community to leadership programs to make sure that they are well-rounded to take these positions. So we can't use the excuse of we don't have anyone qualified, but they're making sure that they have people that are qualified right from their very own community and really engaging in the wider community.
And it's not, of course, just necessarily some of those outreach efforts in the traditional sense. It's also through film. My understanding here, Shay, is that there's a film that highlights the contributions of Filipinos and what they did in the U.S. Navy. Is that correct?
Right, absolutely. Now, like you just said, now this is October for Filipino History, American History Month, but they don't want us to stop learning. They don't want us to stop knowing. So on November 2nd, they are doing a free community movie. It is going to be a premiere before Veterans Day that shows the struggles and triumphs of Filipinos in the Navy. And I think this is extremely important. This is a way that we get to know some of the cultural nuances, some of the things that are happening and that have happened. And this is a great way when we can honor those that have served and see some of the struggles and the triumphs that they had in the Navy.
That's fascinating. And I always really enjoy learning about these individual communities within our wider community here,
Yes.
Shay. So
we got to talk to you about AAPI, and I'm like, wow, how different is it? Even though they're collective, it was really great to sit with some of the people in the Filipino American Coalition and talk to them about some of the things that were happening in their community and those crossovers and how all those things kind of feed into one another. But it's beautiful to see these communities.
certainly is. And Shay, thanks so much for joining us here today and lending us some of the insight about the Filipino American community and Filipino American History Month. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. Thank you, Chris.